Hey Charlotte County, this is Charlotte County Cop Watch, and I'd like to thank you for all your years of support through the years. As a result, this channel has grown and allowed me an equity partnership in carmarshal.com. Please take the time to check them out. They help you buy and sell your next car, even have a negotiating tool to save you from the hassle of haggling with multiple dealers. The link is in the description below. Please click and help support and give if you can too through PayPal or Patreon. Thanks again.
Yesterday we reported on a 30-year-old woman by the name of Charlena Lyles who had a mental illness and unfortunately called police officials in regard to a burglary and then was shot by the two Seattle cops who showed up to the scene. Now, when cops arrived to the scene, they alleged that she was holding a knife and they felt threatened, and that's why they decided to shoot her.
I think just to be clear, and it's not your. I think she didn't have the knife when they got there.
They didn't. She
went and got the knife.
Yeah. So. Yes, and we're going to get to that in just a second, because the Seattle Police Department, in an effort to be transparent about this case, has released audio of the situation, and it gives you a sense of what that scene was like. Now, just to give you some more context before we go to the audio, the recording captured by microphones linked wirelessly to the dashboard video system in the officer's patrol car was publicly released in the interest of maintaining transparency in the investigation of Sunday's shooting, and that's according to a statement by the Seattle Police Department. Keep in mind that Lyles had 4 children and was expecting a 5th, meaning that she was pregnant at the time of the shooting, and unfortunately, again, she did lose her life. Now, the full audio is a little over 4 minutes long. Obviously, we can't play the full thing for you, but I do highly recommend you listen to the full audio. We will include a link in the description box below. But the Seattle Police Department, in the statement posted on its website along with audio recordings, said that 2 officers were sent on Sunday to respond to a report of a burglary instead of the typical 1 because of a recent officer's safety caution associated with the caller. So why am I mentioning that? Well, before this encounter with the cops, she had another encounter with cops where she had a little bit of an episode. She became paranoid. She had a pair of scissors in her hands. She accused these cops of being part of the KKK and coming after her. So clearly there's some sort of mental condition going on, and the police department was aware of that. And the responding police officials were also aware of that. In fact, in the audio, they're heard as saying she let them in, then she started talking all crazy about how the officers weren't going to leave. This gal, she is the one making all these weird statements about how her and her daughter are going to turn into wolves. So that was said in the audio by the 2 cops that were involved in this shooting. So the reason why I'm mentioning that is because they were aware that she had some sort of mental condition. Now, with that said, here is the part of the audio where the shooting happened.
They said an Xbox was taken. Yeah. And then what was the fact that you might have Get back. Get back. That's second. Hey! We need help. We need a woman or 2 down. Hey, get back! Get back!
So obviously there's no video to accompany that audio, but that's what we have right now. I don't know what kind of training there is with this police department and those who have mental conditions, but police have said that both officers were equipped with less lethal force options, and unfortunately it ended with them using fatal force and killing her.
They knew she had a mental health condition.
They did, yes.
You showed us that. It just seemed like it was meant to be more derisive than, oh, this is a clue we should follow. Perhaps this should be handled differently.
I don't know, man. It's you know, I am again keenly aware these are 2 police officers who are confronted with a person with a knife. So you know, they're either not going to get charged, or if they do get charged, they're going to get acquitted. And I know when I've read stories about how quickly someone can cover a lot of ground with a knife, I find it hard to believe that 2 police officers couldn't disable the knife. I don't know. I'm not a cop, so, and I know cops are going to roll their eyes, and so I don't know, and I wasn't there, and we need more information, and everybody should probably shut up until we have more information. But I don't know. I still don't understand. I know that when you're trained as a police officer in the United States of America, and I think in every single jurisdiction, that if you use lethal force, you're supposed to use lethal force to kill. Right? You're never supposed to shoot anybody in the leg, especially if somebody has a gun, because if you shoot them in the leg, they can still shoot you with their gun. That has translated over to knives also. Logic tells me that, why? I understand, by the way, you could shoot somebody in the leg and still kill them. I got it, but not usually. So again, it goes back to, are we sure we're doing everything right? Are we 100% positive that police training in the year 2017 for handling people at their worst moments, are we positive we're doing it the right way? If we're positive we're doing it the right way, if we, as President Obama said he was going to do, if we were going to put the best policing minds involved with people involved in at-risk communities and put them together and the smartest people and talked it out about the best way to handle it, if we came out with the exact same solution, okay. But I bet we aren't handling it in the best way. I bet there are different ways to handle it that would reduce these things happening, because it's not just her family now and the kids, the 3 kids who are in the goddamn house, man. It's not just her life's over and her family's life has changed and those kids' lives, and she was pregnant. Yeah. Right? So it's not just that that's ruined. It has a damaging effect on the psyche in Seattle and in the state of Washington, and for all of us to get this again and again and again, and to suddenly start feeling like, hey, maybe I was taught to believe police, they came to our school, they're the good guys, right? There's damage to our collective psyche when we stop thinking that. And for some, that happened a long time ago and they're not the good guys. And I totally get, man, I have enormous privilege as a white male to where anytime a cop has asked me to do anything, I do it, and I've never had a fear in my life. And my run-ins with police have been negligible, if I've had any. I can't even remember, maybe one. And getting pulled over, that's it. And it's like, we're joking at the end, right? You know? But it has a collective effect on all our psyches, and it has on black people since the 18th century. So it's possible we're doing it wrong. It is possible that it's okay to try and shoot somebody in the leg who has a knife and you think is a risk, because they're not gonna kill you with the knife if you shoot him in the leg, and she'd be alive today. And I don't know, and I'm not an authority, but man, I want authorities to get together and I want that conversation broached, because the immediate response to it is always, no, if you draw your weapon, and if you think a circumstance is serious enough to discharge your weapon, then you discharge your weapon to kill.
Yeah, and look, I think that in order to stop the types of stories that we're seeing far too often, there needs to be a comprehensive approach, right? Because right now in society, we have a dangerous cocktail that leads to these types of encounters with cops. First of all, we have issues with healthcare in general, but mental health care, I mean, look, just living in Los Angeles, and of course this is anecdotal evidence, but I know that on a broader level, this is a big issue. There are people who are living in the streets because of the fact that they have untreated mental conditions, and you see it day in and day out, and people can't afford to take care of themselves physically right now. And mental health care is never a priority in the United States until there's a mass shooting and people are looking for a scapegoat so we don't have to talk about gun legislation, right? But mental health care is something that we 100% have to address in the country, and we don't. So we don't address mental health care, people go untreated, okay? We have an issue with, cops who are justified in being paranoid because we're swimming in a sea of guns, right? And then on top of that, there is a lack of training in terms of dealing with individuals who have mental health issues. And so this cocktail, it leads to these types of stories that we see day in and day out. And there are stories that we don't even report on, because it would literally be the only thing that we talk about on this show if we were to report on every single one of them. I mean, I don't know if there's ever gonna be a solution. I mean, I know there are solutions. I know that they're not actually taken seriously. Instead of, getting defensive, I don't know. I feel like it would be more helpful if people consider possible solutions and actually work toward, improving the conditions that Americans are living under. But it doesn't seem like that's the case. There's just this ridiculous, weird pushback, as if every single cop is perfect and they do their jobs perfectly 100% of the time. No other profession, gets that type of, treatment. But for some reason with cops, it's like, no, you're not allowed to criticize them. They have hard jobs, so they get to go ahead and shoot anyone they want, and they can't get criticized for it.
Alonzo Bowden was here on Friday, and he just said, we pay him more and you make him go to college. And I've thought that for a long time, and I think it's just worth bringing up.
Yeah.
That it becomes a different kind of job. And I'm not saying there aren't a lot of smart cops. I know a lot. I know, not a lot, but I know some cops, and they're super smart and thoughtful guys. So I'm not saying they're not now, but that would be a start. It's not, it's not a job you settle in. It should be a job you aspire to. It's one of the hardest jobs in the world, and they should be paid well, and they should be given time off because it is enormously stressful because they're exposed to people at their worst every single day. Cops on the street are, especially in cities like Los Angeles, and paying them more and having them get a college where they, as Alonzo said, where you meet and are exposed to other people, it would help. It's a different way of thinking about it. There already are jurisdictions that do that.
We're not the Young Turks, you're the Young Turks. You power this show. Together, we built something amazing. We've broken stories like the Donna Brazil story the mainstream media wouldn't break. We built the studio, we built this network. It's now #1, all thanks to you guys. Let's come build it even bigger and stronger. tytnetwork.com/join.
Seattle police officers shot pregnant woman 7 times and one of the bullets struck her unborn baby, autopsy reveals. By admin September 2, 2017. The father of a pregnant woman who was shot dead by police officers after she called to report a robbery in June has released her autopsy report. Charlena Lyles was nearly 4 months pregnant on June 18 when she called police to report an Xbox stolen at her Seattle apartment. It's still unclear how the confrontation unfolded, but in less than 3 minutes, the 2 officers opened fire on the 30-year-old woman in front of 3 of her 4 children. The officers, Jason Anderson and Stephen McNew, said that they started shooting at Lyles when she lunged at them holding knives. The autopsy report, released Wednesday, shows that Lyles was shot 7 times, including twice in the back. Not one shot should have been fired, let alone 7, lawyer Karen Kohler told the Seattle Post-Intelligencer. One of the bullets perforated her uterus, striking her unborn baby boy. Both mother and son died at the hospital. The unborn baby boy would have been Lyle's 5th child. The report also included toxicology reports, showing that Lyles didn't have alcohol or drugs in her system at the time. The report also included toxicology reports, showing that Lyles didn't have alcohol or drugs in her system at the time. +9. An autopsy report released Wednesday shows she was shot 7 times, including twice in the back. The report also included toxicology results showing she didn't have drugs or alcohol in her system at the time and NBSP. The report also included toxicology results showing she didn't have drugs or alcohol in her system at the time. Her father, Charles Lyles, told The Guardian, "Hearing the details of the shooting just makes me feel more empty. I lost my daughter and my next grandson. I just don't have the words." The fact that she was shot in the back leads family members to question the officer's side of the story. Did they shoot her as she fell to the ground? Was she running away? Cousin Katrina Johnson asked. How did she get shot in the back? I still don't know that and understand that, but any which way, it was excessive force. 7 times for her little pregnant 100-pound self was out of control. Kohler said that they decided to release the autopsy report to dispel the public assumptions about the case. If you have been reading the dialogue, you might have assumed she was a poor, single black woman with multiple children who must have been on drugs, and that is a false assumption and a false narrative, Kohler told the Seattle Times. Jason Anderson. +9. Stephen McNew. +9. Jason Anderson, left, and Stephen McNew, right, are the 2 officers who shot Lyles dead. They are on paid administrative leave pending the results of an internal investigation. Lyles struggled with mental illness and had past interactions with the police. Just 2 weeks before she was fatally shot, cops responded to a domestic violence call at the house and found Lyles holding a pair of shears to one of her kids. She allegedly talked to police about morphing into a wolf and accused them of being members of the Ku Klux Klan. Eventually, the officers were able to persuade Lyles to drop the shears. They waited with her until her sister could arrive to take care of her kids and then took her to jail. She was released a few days before her death and ordered to seek mental health treatment. On the day of the fatal shooting, Lyles called police reporting a robbery at her apartment, saying that she came home and found her Xbox missing. Surveillance footage would later show that no one entered her apartment in the hours before she was shot. Surveillance footage shows the two officers responding to Lyles' apartment after getting a report about a robbery on June 18 and NBSP. Surveillance footage shows the two officers responding to Lyles' apartment after getting a report about a robbery on June 18. Less than 3 minutes after arriving, the cops took out their guns and started shooting and NBSP. Less than 3 minutes after arriving, the cops took out their guns and started shooting. After receiving the call, one of the officers read a warning on Lyles' past behavior, saying she had been assaultive to officers. He called for backup, and once the other officer arrived, they had a discussion and decided it was safe to respond since she didn't have a mental health tag on her report, even though she did indeed have one. When police arrived on the scene, their conversation with Lyles was at first cordial, according to audio released of the incident. It's unclear how things escalated, but Lyles eventually started yelling at the pair. "Do it! Do it! Are you ready? Mother FS," she said, according to court documents. The cops said they started shooting when she lunged at them holding 1 or 2 knives. Lyles' 1-year-old and 4-year-old children were crawling nearby. Her 11-year-old son was in another room. Lyles was pregnant with her 5th child when she was killed. Both mom and her unborn son died at the hospital. +9. Lyles was pregnant with her 5th child when she was killed. Both mom and her unborn son died at the hospital. In the wake of Lyles' death, much attention has been paid to the fact that one of the officers didn't have a taser on him, as is required. The Seattle Police Department is still investigating the deadly shooting, and both officers remain on paid administrative leave in the meantime. Earlier this month, Lyles' family filed a claim against the city, the first step in filing a lawsuit. 90 days after the claim is filed, the family will be able to formally sue. The family's claim says the two officers lost their composure when Lyles came at them with knives, and that they failed to order her to drop her weapons as a warning before shooting. They also say the two cops knew about Lyles' mental illness and should have had a plan for dealing with her, as is required by the 1999 Americans with Disabilities Act. The police narrative is that she had a knife and they were justified in shooting her dead, COLLIER said. They don't want to talk about the fact that they knew she had recent mental health issues but chose to go in without any game plan. +9.
Hey Charlotte County, this is Charlotte County COPWATCH, and I found that I had to make a change this ending on my videos, letting you know about the channel and fair use laws, you know, how we can report on other people's reporting and how it's good, how it's bad, etc. But you guys can look it up yourself. It is legal. It's in there. But like I've told you before, that I've been cut off from making money on YouTube for 4 years. It's really weird, bizarre, but they cut the money off, but they said you can keep the channel, and now YouTube makes all the money. And if you get bored, plug it into Social Blade website, and you'll see that they are making a huge amount off the site. Right now it's at 63 million views, 53,000 subscribers, almost 3 million views a month. You know, trying to wake people up, and I make nothing. In fact, I got a customer that's ex-congressman. He said if I could ever find a lawyer, sue YouTube on it. But because this is nuts, 4 hours a day, and because save America, you know, but at the same time, it's worth it. Look at what our founding fathers did. They died for this country. So, but getting back to the money part, this is why I'm redoing the video. Is my dream of everyone giving $1, and it's going to be $53,000 a year, or if they did Patreon, which you know, can be monthly. That is not working. That'd be great if it did. Nothing is perfect. And I appreciate the people that do donate, you know, what they can on PayPal. And there again, I'm letting you guys know that is not much. Is, you know, monthly is, oh my god. So anyways, yes, you cannot live on it. It's very, very, very low amount. But the dollar things, I do appreciate that. But when I first said everybody give $1, that's not working. I'm just I'm just letting you guys know it's, yeah, that dream. Everybody gives $1. 53,000 subscribers, it's not working. So yes, if you can give more than that, you know, I appreciate it. Like I said, you know, I'm in a unique situation where, you know what, we're already debt free, and I'm not rich, but with the little business that we have, I am able to do what I am able to do 45 hours a day, you know, letting you guys know what's going on. In 4 years, I've did the whole thing myself. 12,000 videos on there. I literally get emails where people are like, holy crap, I never knew it was this bad. And it is this bad, and it's getting worse every day because we have the internet, we have cell phones, we have cameras everywhere now, and it's just disgusting what's going on. And then, as you guys know too, now we got Trump, we got Jeff Sessions doing a war on drugs, and now he wants to go after the forfeiture laws again. It's just unfreaking real. So if you can give more than that dream of everybody giving $1, yeah, that old video, that's not working. They're not. They're just not. So anyways, if you can give more than that dream is not working. Hardly anybody is giving. There you go. So that's why I'm remaking the video. If you can give more than that would be great. And there again, like I said, the Patreon's there. There is some people on there that are starting to give, but there again, it's very, very low. And like I said, I don't want to get rich off of that. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing because, you know, it's still so stinking corrupt. It's not even funny. My court case that I'm going to be paying out of my pocket myself with Charlotte County's coming up. They illegally looked me up and then posted all my information on LEOAFFAIRS website. They basically doxed me, however you want to say that. I forget what the word is, and they outed me, man. And that information on that site went out to 500 sheriffs, deputies, people that work at the jail, etc., etc., etc. So yeah, it is very, very scary, but we're going to do a federal case, 1983 case, violating freedom of speech. We have 17 cameras in the house now. We got 2 cameras in the car. I always carry a camera plus a cell phone. A lot of people are highly recommending I get a vest now. If I could, if the wife would let me, I would run for sheriff. We are trying to push the thing nationwide right now. Where just to mix it up and to get the topics out there is register to run for sheriff, NPA, no party affiliation, as a write-in, and that is completely free, and you can participate in the elections. And there's a lot of stuff. We got a guy, James McLinnis in Pinellas County, Tampa, who almost won. He experienced the corruption himself. The story is unbelievable. Look him up. It's mind-blowing what they did. It pissed him off. He is very, very smart. He has way more money than I did. He ran for sheriff at the last 3 months last year in 2016 and almost won. He got all of the black vote. And the reason why he did that is because he ran on, I will not bust, we're in Florida, I will not bust anybody for weed anymore unless it's an ungodly huge amount, like pounds. And then he also ran on no more victimless crimes, no more of this freaking road pirate bull crap. And then he was going to cut the budget by 30%. And when you think about that, you can. If you stop the road pirates, you can get rid of a bunch of people. Gone. So, the wife has been saying, yes, I can, yes, I can't. So I don't know. We're trying to find somebody that can do it because I am busy doing this anyways. But so I'm making a video, like I said, that $1 a month from everybody, you know, for 53,000 subscribers, that is not working. I'm just letting you guys know. Absolutely give way more than $1 a month if you can. I appreciate anything. By the way, remember too, when you give that, PayPal takes like freaking 15 to 20%, so it's even worse than that. But and there again, like I'm letting you guys know, it's way what I get is very, very low. Appreciate it, but it is very, very low. Can't live on it. I'm just, you know, I'm working, and that's what I'm working on. And that court case is going to cost a buttload of money. That's federal court. Just the filing fees and the depositions that we're going to be doing with this corrupt cop. So there's another reason to give. We are going to be doing a deposition with this very corrupt. He was in a drug squad. He is a bad guy. He's on steroids. We heard steroids are rampant here. That's why their attitude is so bad. And we are going to get him on video, and it will be on YouTube. So that case alone is $5,000 just to bring it to court, and that's my money out of my pocket. So there's another reason to give, and give way more than $1 if you can. So keep that in mind. This is the new video, and I see, God, I talk a lot. It's already 7 minutes, but had to make it just to let you know that $1 a month from everybody is not working. They're not doing it. So if you can give more than that, please. So thanks. Keep it up. Share, like, subscribe, tell your friends, send me your videos on corruption, and I'll post it.